Okay, we'll finish up with this, and this is, they call it Korean shrub. I call it, they have one called rose care. So you have to read what it is. This is Bayer, I think, yeah. And Bayer bought up a lot of their patents, and they use it. And what it does, it's a spray material, it's a granule, and you work it in the ground, and it's good for this one here, feeds and takes care of insects. So what it is, through a systemic action, the plant brings it up. But the reason I wanted to show you this, like we use it on the roses, is a lot of times we have clients that don't want you to spray because they have cats, animals, or children playing in that yard all the time. So they don't want to use spray material. So you have to find some other way if you want to keep the insects down. There are some other materials you can use here. They're biodegradable and they're not dangerous to anybody, but you have to read the label. So if you go to the hardware store or Home Depot, don't just grab stuff. And every once in a while, like I said, read the label of stuff that you know and see that they didn't change the ingredient. Because when you're somebody like me, been around for so many years, they've changed the ingredient of a brand name 3 times. And each time you're supposed to apply it a different way. Okay? So this one here, what you do, you put it around the plant, like around the roses or whatever, and then water it in, cultivate it or scratch it in, and then water, and then little by little. And what I have found, that this doesn't work the first month you put it on. It takes a while for the plant to pick it up. So once you get going, because a lot of times people say, oh, I've got some insect. Well, maybe you can hit it with safer soap or something, okay? But don't give up on it. Go by the directions and do it next month. And before you know it, there are no more insects up in here and nice green leaves and so on. And the other thing is to read the label. This particular one Tom gave me, and I'm not too familiar with it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. Read the label and find out how it works, what it is, because some of these, you don't use them on edibles. So just because you use it on the roses and everything, it does a beautiful job for you, don't think you could put it on your tomatoes. Because then the tomatoes picking this material up, and maybe the insecticide that's in there is detrimental to humans or animals or whatever. So I've had clients tell me, oh, I had one lady, it was a lemon, she had thrip, and I didn't know what to do at the time, she said, oh, use this. And she brought some of this stuff out. I thought, you can't use that. I said, that's got such and such. Oh, okay. Yeah, about 2 years went by and she comes out with a big bowl of lemons. My lemon had so many lemons. She says, you want some? I said, which lemon tree you take them off of? She said, that one there. I said, that's the one you told me to put this stuff on. You can't eat those, So you have to know, the homeowners are really oblivious sometimes to what they're using. And another thing, while we're talking about pesticides of any kind, do not ever rely on someone else to give you some material. I've heard stories, and clients give to me, come out with a mason jar, and it's got some directions, 2 tablespoons per gallon. I said, what is this? I don't know. My cousin up on the ranch gave it to me. It'll work for you on your plants. I said, we don't know what it is. We can't use that. So if something happens on any of these materials that the labels fall off or something, you got to get rid of this over to the garbage man's dump. I don't mean you dump it, you bring it where you could dispose of it. You don't know what it is after the label is off. You can't just write on there, oh, this is such and such. because then you happen to kick the bucket, as they say, and then your kids get it and said, oh, mom said this is such and so, we could use it. Well, you can't do that. You know, you don't want to do that. Okay, so we covered the mites and things like that, and Thomas brought a couple of these in, and the one that I use a lot is called BT, and it's for caterpillars. And I love this stuff, and I don't know if you know how to see where caterpillars have been, but if you're on a deck, especially a deck, you look underneath the plant and they're like little peppercorns that have dropped out. They're not as big as peppercorns, they're maybe 1/4, like little black rocks, little tiny ones. That means it's poop from a caterpillar. Look under the leaves, a lot of times you'll find a cocoon. You find a cocoon, you're here too late. They did all their eating, then they went into a cocoon, then they're going to come out and they're going to be a butterfly or a moth, and they're going to fly away, and then they're going to lay more eggs, okay? Now, that's the time you want to get your material on. So you use this BT and you put it all over all the foliage, so when the caterpillar eats the leaf, it goes into him and this bacteria eats him from the inside out. Sounds grotesque, but that's the way you get rid of caterpillar. The bad part is, and you should all know this, if you're using this, maybe you're doing in monarch butterflies. You know, you have to be able to identify what you have, and you should know what a larva of a or a caterpillar of a monarch looks like. Because I used to see this black on both ends with yellow in the middle with a few spots on his back, and I thought, oh, with that color it had to be a monarch, so I put it in my jar, and when it popped out, and it was a moth, and after all my work I didn't even get a monarch butterfly out of it, you know. So you have to be able to identify, and that's what Malcolm's class is so good for, and I push it all the time. And if you don't take his class, you could study a lot of this on your own, but you got to get into it. You can't just flip through the pages. You got to study it a bit so you can identify one caterpillar from another, and that way you know what your target is that you want to get rid of. So anyway, there's another one, Thomas. What did you say this one was good for?
Spinosad.
Yeah. That was for fungus and...
it's an insecticide also, bacterial insecticide. Kind of like BT in a way.
It's another bacteria.
Yeah.
Biological. And so, you know, these are the things that you might be looking into, you know, for that. You know, if you have beetle problems, and then Thomas brought in this diatomaceous earth, and you sprinkle that around. That's for ground bugs also. And so you get a combination of things. I'm not going to talk about it today, but a lot of times, Thomas knows my favorite is black vine weevil. If you got a leaf, it looks like you took a paper punch around the edge. And a lot of times it's just one there, so it's like a half moon. Right off the bat, you know, you've got black vine weevil, but you look all over the plant, there are no black vine weevils. They're in the ground and they come up at night to eat. When you're asleep, they're working. And so then we use, what are we using? You know, God, the little worms.
Oh, beneficial nematodes are favorites.
Yeah, beneficial nematode. and that's one of my favorite things to get rid of. Any ground insect that has a larva in the ground. And so you put this material on, and they go on as in solution in water, and then they're like little minute worms, so minute you don't see them. And then they eat the larva. And when they're through, they go to sleep. And the next time there's some more, they come back out and they eat them. And I've had good luck with, I've had them on podocarpus, I've had them on camellias, and it's one of my go-to controls, and it's a marvel to the homeowner. You know, I'll get rid of them for you, but you don't get rid of them right now. When they're making the holes, that hole is there. That leaf gotta fall off, because that leaf isn't gonna fill up that little hole. So it's gonna be a whole year or more before that leaf is gone, you know. But the beneficial nematodes, if you get into it, I think I talked about it once before.
Yeah,
And I get them out of Colorado, and they can be shipped overnight air. And it's Hydro Gardens was the name of the company. Okay.
Hey, Gus, Stephen Brown, the boss, brought this in for us too. A little bit more bacillus, BT, but for mosquitoes, not for caterpillar. Lepidoptera, but for mosquito larvae.
Well, Thomas brought this out, so we got, here's a kind of BT.
The other one, yeah. That's
Here's another one. Here's another one. This one's for mosquitoes. And they're bringing out more of these things now. These are biological controls. So, you know, these are biological controls. Some of these others, this is a fungicide. Some of them are insecticides. And then we even have one over here, the oil, the dormant oils to get rid of the mice and everything. So you can't really get by with one product. There's, you know, what do you used to call those? Wide spectrum. It sounds good. And, oh, we put this on to take care of everything.
Kill everything.
It kills, it handles everything. There's no such thing. And so you have to be able to get in there and read, and you people all have your iPhones and computers. You don't have to go hunt up books like I used to do. You can just look on there, put in there what the problem is, and come up with some answers. Okay, I hope this helps you out, because there's a lot to learn here, and I think you've got to do a lot on your own. But just give you a start. See you later.